Welcome to the recap of episode 1 and 2 of The Glory. Hello and welcome to episode 1 of The Glory. In this episode, we follow Moon Dong-eun as she moves into a new apartment in the city of Semyong. As she settles in, we see her past come back to haunt her in the form of pictures of those who have wronged her, including Park Yeon-jin. As she imagines Yeon-jin entering her home and not recognizing her, we see Moon's desire for revenge grow. She envisions herself attacking Yeon-jin with a stapler and promising to kill her. But what led Moon to this point? Tune in to find out as we follow her story of betrayal and seeking retribution. In 2004, a teenage Moon Dong-eun takes a stand against the bullying she has been experiencing at her high school. She reports the abuse to the police, hoping for justice. However, things do not go as planned. The police chief, Shin Young-jun, personally handles the case and makes a call to Yeon-jin's mother, promising to make the situation disappear. It is revealed that he and Yeon-jin's mother are old friends, and he has even been assisting her with her divorce. Despite this, Young-jun asks Yeon-jin to stop bullying her classmates, and the other bullies are picked up by their guardians. But the support Moon hoped for does not come. A teacher from her school arrives at the police station and acts as her legal guardian, reprimanding her for going to the authorities over what he considers a small prank. Moon is left feeling even more alone and unsupported. The fallout from Moon Dong-eun's decision to report the bullying she experienced continues, with the school's vice principal already aware of the situation and the police chief feeling unhappy about it. Yeon-jin's mother is disappointed in her daughter, not for her actions as a bully, but for her inability to handle Dong-eun. The next day, things only get worse for Dong-eun when Yeon-jin burns her arm with a hair iron, leading to further torture, mockery, and sexual assault. When Dong-eun visits the school nurse seeking treatment for her wounds, the nurse becomes suspicious and asks how she was injured. Dong-eun lies and says she just needs hydrogen peroxide to clean the blood on her shirt. However, the nurse notices the burn marks on Dong-eun's arm and offers to help her report the abuse to a teacher. Yeon-jin, who is also at the infirmary and on the phone with her mother, reveals that she is the one who has been hurting Dong-eun. The nurse is shocked and decides to resign from her position a few days later. As the abuse and harassment continues, Dong-eun finds herself at a breaking point. She goes home to find Yeon-jin and her gang already inside, making themselves comfortable and drinking. Yeon-jin has also found Dong-eun's piggy bank and demands that she either dance for them or allow herself to be burned with a hand iron in order to get her savings back. They end up using the hand iron on her legs. Feeling overwhelmed and hopeless, Dong-eun considers taking her own life. Instead, she decides to drop out of school and lists her bullies as the reason for her transfer. The vice principal confronts the class homeroom teacher about the situation, but the teacher belittles Dong-eun and tells her to come back to school to collect her belongings. At the staff office, Dong-eun stands up for herself and confronts the teacher, who responds by slapping her repeatedly until the other teachers intervene. Meanwhile, Dong-eun's mother, who works at a rundown salon, receives a call about her daughter's situation. Dong-eun's mother has a meeting with Yeon-jin's mother and agrees to sign papers stating that Dong-eun is dropping out of school due to maladjustment in exchange for a financial settlement. Dong-eun discovers the betrayal and payout the next morning when her mother moves out of their home without telling her. To survive, Dong-eun takes on several low-paying jobs. She once again contemplates suicide, but ultimately decides to live and returns to school for one last time. She confronts Yeon-jin and promises that they will meet again, stating that Yeon-jin is her dream. Dong-eun then leaves school for good. Over the next few years, from 2006 to 2008, Dong-eun works hard to support herself while also studying from home. She is able to graduate high school and enroll in college. Despite her achievements, Dong-eun remains driven by her desire for revenge against Yeon-jin. In 2009, Dong-eun begins attending Yushin University of Education and continues to plot her revenge. In the present day, Dong-eun makes contact with Yeon-jin's daughter, Ha Yi-sol, and tells her about her history with Yeon-jin. Meanwhile, Yeonjin has become a weather presenter at a TV station. In 2012, episode 2 of The Glory opens with Moon Dong-eun at a cyber cafe researching her former bullies. She finds that Sun Myeonlo is living a reckless lifestyle, Lee Sa-ra is an artist who enjoys using drugs, Choi Hae-jong is a flight attendant, and John Jae-jun owns a store called Siesta. Dong-eun also discovers that Jae-jun is having an affair with Yeonjin, who is set to marry another man. Dong-eun meets with Gu Song-hee, a girl she met while working at a factory before going to college. Dong-eun reveals to Song-hee her plans for revenge against her former bullies, but Song-hee advises against it. Despite this, Song-hee agrees to help Dong-eun set up a new Instagram account to keep track of the gang. Dong-eun is determined to get her revenge, no matter what the cost. As she works as a tutor, Dong-eun struggles to deal with entitled and spoiled rich kids. One of her male clients tries to flirt with her, causing Dong-eun to end the session and terminate their contract. As she leaves the client's house, Dong-eun faints and is taken to the hospital. At the hospital, Dong-eun meets Ju Yeo-young, who tries to help her but she leaves before completing treatment. Yeo-young, an intern at the hospital, becomes concerned when the doctor returns with the results of Dong-eun's tests, showing that she is anemic and left without a prescription. He tracks down Dong-eun at her university. Initially, Yeo-young does not approach Dong-eun, but she becomes aware that he is watching her. When she confronts him about it, Yeo-young explains that he has been keeping an eye on her because she needs to take better care of her health. Meanwhile, Yeonjin gets married in a lavish ceremony, which Dong-eun secretly watches. Dong-eun and Yeo-young also grow closer, with Yeo-young offering to teach Dong-eun how to play the game Go. However, Dong-eun decides to cut ties with Yeo-young after learning the basics of the game. In 2015, Dong-eun passes the teacher's qualification exam on her second try, while Yeonjin has a baby. Fast forward to 2021, Yeonjin is happily married and living in Semyeong. To celebrate her birthday, her husband gifts her a new pair of green heels, similar to the ones Dong-eun was wearing when she first met Hae-sol. Yeonjin's husband is unhappy to hear that Hae-jong has been spreading rumors about Yeonjin's past, and Yeonjin promises to handle the situation. Yeonjin and Sa-ra meet with Hae-jong and put her in her place. Meanwhile, Dong-eun is collecting items from her enemies and makes an interesting discovery. In 2022, Yeonjin is still working as a weather broadcaster while Yeo-young misses playing Go with Dong-eun. Meanwhile, Dong-eun runs into Myeonlo while shopping at the Siesta store. She tells him that she has been thinking about him recently, and he offers to buy the shoes Dong-eun was trying on and invites her for a drink. Myeonlo brags about how he essentially runs the shop, even though it belongs to Jae-jun and he is just an errand boy. Dong-eun decides to have coffee with him instead. As they talk, Myeonlo receives a message from one of the workers, informing him that Jae-jun is wondering why he has not completed the errand he was given. Dong-eun mocks Myeonlo for being Jae-jun's little errand boy and tells him that there is a way for him to stop being Jae-jun's errand boy. Later, Dong-eun meets teacher Kim Jong-moon's son. Teacher Kim Jong-moon is now old and is currently at a nursing home. Their talk is interrupted by a call from a realtor at Semyeong Real Estate. She informs Dong-eun that there is a vacancy in the apartment she was looking to rent. Dong-eun is spotted by an employee who works for Yeonjin as she secretly tries to steal their trash. She asks Dong-eun to kill her husband in return for her silence about the garbage. Thanks for watching the recap of The Glory episodes 1 and 2. If you like this recap, make sure to watch the recap of other episodes as well. Until then, stay safe and stay otaku.